What up?
Hello, everyone. It's Monday, March 3rd, 2025. We are here for the He Says, She Says Sports Talk Podcast. And we are your hosts. I am Big Red, and this is Tony. What's up, Tony? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. We got a lot of NFL to talk about. Some news came out today um, about Debo going to Washington Commanders for a fifth round pick.
Yeah, it came out yesterday. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was in shock, and the person that I was with did not care at all. Um, but really, really interesting. Debo going to Washington. I think the 49ers clearly don't place a lot of value on Debo. That
Yeah,
is
fifth round pick is
definitely what I
crazy.
got from that fifth round trade. They traded him for pennies
Yeah.
and nothing, basically. I mean,
Hmm.
he had one Pro Bowl season in 2021. That's now a couple of years ago. And he has not really seen the same production value since.
Yeah.
But if there's a team that can find the value in a veteran guy who maybe seems like he's on his last legs, it's a team like the Commanders because that's what they've been doing for the last year. I mean, Jaden
Yeah,
Daniels
definitely.
ignited that team with older guys on the team like Eckler and Terry McLaurin. I mean,
Zach Ertz.
exactly. I mean, so I think that if
Hmm.
there's a team that can find that value in Debo, I mean, it's going to be the Commanders.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think this is I think it's a good pickup for him. I mean, it gives him a weapon. I mean, I'm not going to necessarily say he's a number two to McLaurin or anything like that, but you can obviously he's a gadget player. You can put him in the backfield, slot, outside. You can pretty much move him around how you want to use him. You know.
Like a Swiss Army knife, you know?
Yeah,
There's all these
yeah,
different settings that he's got.
yeah. I mean, it's a good pickup for them. I wouldn't say it's a star power pickup, but we'll see what he's got left in the tank. Like we said, hopefully he still has a little bit more left for sure. I think
I
he
think
does.
I think it's a really safe pickup for them. I don't think that this necessarily to me makes them, oh, now they're a Super Bowl contender.
Hmm.
But I do think we know what the Commanders are without a guy like Debo Samuel, right?
Well,
And they're pretty dang good. Now they have
yeah,
somebody with possible potential to elevate them. I think that's a fantastic, and they got it for just a fifth rounder. So like, I mean, what do you have? I guess what do you have to
yeah.
lose?
They won in the trade, in my
Yeah,
opinion. The
you don't
Commanders
have anything
won
to
for
lose
sure.
there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about your boys, the Cincinnati Bengals, franchise tag, T. Higgins.
It was
Uh,
expected. It was
yeah, he's
expected.
looking to get 26.2 million from the franchise tag, for the year. So,
They're still trying to work out a deal with him, right? And so the only way to do that is to franchise tag him. He was never going to see free agency. That's not going to happen. They're not going to let it happen. And they are going to work out a deal with him. I have faith in the front office. They'll figure it out. They'll work out a deal with him. It seems like from everything that they're doing that they are respecting what Joe and the coaching staff is kind of looking for. They announced today they were releasing Alex Kappa, another veteran guy with a huge cap hit to them,
hmm,
10 million, I think. So
yeah,
they're cutting guys that are veteran guys that are underperforming, that are big cap hits to me
hmm.
for the things that they need. And I haven't seen them do that a ton in the past years. I
They
mean,
definitely
it
haven't with
feels
the Brown
different.
family.
And so even though, yes, we're franchise tagging T again, it feels different. It feels like they're making the room to make the deals that they need to make, as opposed to letting people walk.
Yeah, no, definitely. As long as those guys are on the same page, obviously, this campaign is being led by Joe Burrow, the quarterback, obviously, to keep everyone there. But as long as they are all understanding, which seems like they have an understanding. We're going to franchise tag you, obviously, because we don't have the time to work out the contract at the moment. So franchise tag you, and then we'll work it out for next year and to keep all those guys and to stay in this Super Bowl loop that they're trying to stay in for sure. Yeah.
I think they
So
can do
I
it.
think it's good. He's gonna get some money for sure.
It feels different. That's all I'm gonna say. It feels different. I have a lot of faith.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, y'all got some weapons for sure. So y'all keeping them there. It's gonna be better for you guys, 100% for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm happy he's staying. That man was never gonna sniff free agency. Come on.
So they weren't gonna let him test it out, maybe get a
They're not letting
contract
him
from
test
someone.
that.
It would
Please.
have been some money out there for him
His
too if he would have let him.
value is only going to go up. That should encourage the Bengals to make a deal with him sooner than later.
Yeah, definitely. And also my Eagles let go of six-time Pro Bowler cornerback Darius Slay.
How are you feeling about that?
I kind of knew it was coming. Um, I like Darius Slay, but he's getting up there in age. His performance declining a little bit. He played well last year though, for sure. Um, it was just a move to open up some cap room, obviously, to open up some dead cap for the next year and the year after that. I knew it was coming. Somebody's going to pick him up for sure. He's definitely got some left in the tank. Just hopefully it's not an NFC East team, but yeah, no, somebody's definitely going to pick him up. He'll definitely get a contract somewhere for sure. But I knew it was coming. I kind of knew it was coming. And with the young corners we drafted this year, it just only made sense, to
Matter of
open
fact.
up that room. Yeah, definitely. But no, let's
Plenty of people that are going to be entering free agency this upcoming week here.
yeah,
And
definitely the
a
quarterbacks.
huge quarterback carousel that's about to happen. The dominoes have started to fall. Matthew Stafford is staying with the Rams. He
Yep.
he dipped his toe out in the market, saw who was interested, and went back to the Rams and said, "Hey guys, can we please restructure?
Yeah,
Figure it out. We'll
basically.
figure it out." I
Yeah.
think ultimately being a competitor outweighed maybe making a little bit more money for Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then I seen Sean McVay say that they were never wanting Stafford to leave, but it's just like, why would you let him go test the market if you saying you didn't want him to leave? But
Right.
I think it's good that he's staying there. Obviously, I mean, he doesn't have to go to a new system. I don't know what they're going to do about Cooper Cup or not. Whether or not he's going to go somewhere else, but they're still going to need some more pieces for sure to contend. I mean, they're definitely a contender in the NFC, but they definitely need some more
It's a
pieces. Big keep for them though.
Yeah, it's a quarterback needy market out there, and the teams that are needy aren't necessarily the teams that great quarterbacks want to be going to. So it's a catch-22 because if you're out there in free agency, the teams that are looking at you aren't
Hmm.
necessarily competitors. So you're being asked to go somewhere and turn a team into a competitor. And that's
Yeah.
what's happening, I think, specifically for Mr. Aaron Rodgers. I think he went out there. He thought maybe he would be able to get himself into the Rams somehow with the whole Matthew Stafford thing. Don't know
Hmm.
why they would do that if they were going to get rid of Stafford because of his age. Why they would take Aaron Rodgers, I
Aaron
don't
Rodgers. Yeah.
thought that was even a possibility. But it looks like
Yeah, that
now
wouldn't make sense.
the team that's the most interested in him keeps him in New York, and it's the Giants. And that's because the Giants have to win through November. If Dable and Shane want to keep their jobs, they don't necessarily have to do the most all season long or late into a no playoff run necessary or whatever.
Yeah.
They have to win through November because that's when that reevaluation period is for the head coach and the GM. So what they're looking for right now, I don't think it's a
Hmm.
quarterback. I think it's a quick, easy fix that gets them to the
But do
next
you
draft.
and you think Aaron Rodgers is that quick, easy fix? I'm not so sure
I
that
think
he is.
he
I would, if I was a Giants fan, I would be running from that
I
room
wouldn't want him as a
100%. I would not want him. What? No
but
way.
But if you think about it, right, he has the experience, he has
100%.
all of that past history coming with him, and the Giants
And a
just
lot of
to win enough to get them one more year to the next draft because I don't I don't think their guy is in this draft when it comes to a quarterback. I don't
I
think
don't think so
or
either, but I think they're going to draft a quarterback.
they're gonna probably have to trade up for him though, if they really want to go for the quarterback they want.
That is true.
If they want to have the determining factor, right? They're gonna have to trade up, and
Yeah,
is Tennessee willing to trade?
I mean that is true because I mean, it's skeptical with Tennessee on whether or not they want a quarterback or not either. Or, like you said, with the whole QB matchmaking we're about to do,
Yeah,
maybe
I think
one of
Rodgers
these
gives
free
them
agent
the best
quarterbacks will.
chance to win a couple of games and win when they need to, which is early in the season, in order to preserve their jobs so that they can invest. Because the other thing is, right, if they go with a quarterback in this draft, it's going to be a developmental guy. Even Cam Ward and Sheduer Sanders are developmental rookies, right? So that means that
Hmm.
John Mara has to be interested in keeping Shane and Dable around for at least the next 2 or 3 years. So he really has to commit to them. And it looks like he might not be
He
super
don't want to.
committed
Yeah,
to them. So if you're
yeah.
going to go quarterback, you kind of have to be committed to your head coach and your GM and the rebuild that you're doing. And I don't know if they're that committed to it yet. And I think maybe they're probably one more year away. So
Hmm.
Rodgers gives them the best chance to keep their jobs. And I think that
Hey, I know I totally understand your point for sure. It's just the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. I would not want to have that.
the
But no,
Giants
let's
need
do
two
the.
quarterbacks. The Giants need two quarterbacks. They only have one on their roster
Yeah,
right
they
now, and
yeah
it's Tommy DeVito.
DeVito. Yeah.
Somebody, whether they
Hmm.
go veteran and a third, fourth,
Draft a guy.
fifth
Yeah.
round rookie, right?
Hmm.
Um, or they try to go get somebody better. I mean, they'll probably be in the fight for Sam Darnold, but I doubt that he goes there. That's the thing is I don't see Sam Darnold ever wanting to walk back into that building, even if it's for the other team.
Yeah. No, definitely. Speaking of that, let's do the quarterback matchmaking. Let's do. What is your matchmakers as far as quarterbacks available or on the move, possibly on the move?
Yeah, where do you want to start? Which team? I mean, we did the Giants, so
Let's. I'll name a quarterback. How about that? And you just tell me. Let's start with Russell Wilson.
I think the Steelers are going to re-sign Russell Wilson. I think they're going to re-sign one of those two guys. I know they're talking to both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I
Hmm.
think they're keeping one of them. And the way the Steelers are playing at the end of the year, if Mike Tomlin and the coaching staff and the front office, if they believed in Justin Fields, they
Yeah,
would have been playing him at the end of the season when the team was in shambles. I mean, they laid down against like Lamar Jackson and the
yeah,
right. So if they were
yeah. We
going
talked
to
about that. Yeah,
if they were gonna use Justin Fields, they would have. And so I think they just don't believe in him. Like I just don't see them believing in him like that and having the confidence to commit to him. And so
yeah.
therefore I think Russell Wilson is gonna be the one that stays with the Steelers.
So if you see Russell Wilson staying, where do you see Justin Fields going? And even if it's as a backup role, it doesn't have to necessarily be a starter role either.
I think if I mean the Jets have now quarterback vacancies, right?
Uh huh.
I think that's an ideal landing spot for Justin Fields. They have a new coach in Aaron Glenn, and I think all Justin Fields needs is a chance, and I think the Jets are potentially able to take a chance like that on Justin Fields. He
And
needs
he can go
starter
back up there and play with his boy Garrett Wilson, who he played with in college at Ohio State. So
exactly. So I think that's a good landing spot for him. I think both parties should be interested in each other, so it might just be a match made in heaven.
yeah, no, for sure. All right, well, we're gonna talk about your Sam Darnold. What about him? Is he gonna stay
Oh,
in Minnesota? Are they gonna franchise tag him, or are they
so
gonna
this is
let him
the
test
big
the market?
question, right? Is he going to go out and test the market? Because the Vikings have pretty much said that JJ McCarthy, they believe in him. He's the future of their organization.
Mm-hmm.
But there is the question of his health and how ready is he going to be to play in
Yeah.
September. So they need somebody who's
Ready to go.
able and ready to go in case JJ McCarthy isn't. They need the bridge, that band-aid, that fix-it player right now. Sam
Mm-hmm.
Darnold has essentially proven that he can go out and do that. Let's not forget he went full pumpkin mode, and the real Sam Darnold did stand up at the end of the
Yeah,
year.
definitely.
He's not necessarily your playoff guy, not yet, hasn't proven himself, but
No.
he can get you through the season. And he was in talks as an MVP candidate halfway through the season. So I would think either signing him to another 1 year deal or tagging him or something like that could be a good idea for the Vikings. But asterisk, there has to be a line of demarcation because if he becomes too expensive, if he goes out and tests the market,
Mm-hmm.
becomes too expensive, you can rely on other guys. I mean, they have Daniel Jones, who's also a free agent. You could sign a guy like
Yeah.
try to get you over the hump because you're throwing to guys like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, as Sam Darnold
There's your boy
proved.
Jameis out there too.
Almost anybody can, right? So a Jameis, a Daniel Jones, somebody that they believe in enough to get them there that can
Mm-hmm.
be their just in case player. So yes, I think Sam Darnold, asterisk, line of demarcation for the Vikings. If not, I think the Raiders could be a good spot for him. If the Raiders don't,
You
if a
know what I
quarterback
think?
doesn't fall to the Raiders, and if Sheduer doesn't fall to the Raiders, I think either Justin Fields or Sam Darnold could end up on the Raiders.
Yeah, no, definitely. A sleeper team I think with Sam Darnold comes to mind is the Colts. I know they got Richardson there, but there's been a lot of talk about whether or not he's ready or mature enough, can handle it or whatnot. So Sam Darnold coming in there also can maybe light a fire in the competition as well. So
Competition could do him justice. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. What about Kirk Cousins?
You said it last week. Kirk Cousins to the Browns. I think
Yeah.
that makes so much sense for them. I
Uh-huh.
mean, they're already spending an arm and a leg. Why not? And then,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem like some of their younger guys have worked out for them. I'm not sure that like
Mm-hmm.
Dorian Thompson Robinson is like worked out for them. They could
Yeah,
potentially
no.
get another quarterback late in the
In the
draft
draft,
or
yeah.
in the, even earlier in like the second, third round, they might want to take somebody's draft stock that's shooting up is like a Jackson Dart. Maybe they grab
Mm-hmm.
early in the
I
second.
like him. I don't think he'll be there then, but
He
uh,
might not be. It looks like
he
he
might
may
be a
go
potential
first round
first. Yeah.
because there's so many quarterback needs. He might go first round, but if he's still there, that could be a great grab for the Browns because I think they pick first,
Third or
third,
second.
third,
Second.
second in the
Yeah, second.
round. All right. So
But
he's
no,
there.
that's
That could be
no,
great for them, but definitely Kirko Chains
yeah,
to the Browns.
to the
That
Browns. Yeah, I think so too.
team's kismet as well. So
No, I think so. And I know we already talked about him too, but lastly, Aaron Rodgers.
yeah, I mean, you tell me where you think he's going because I think it's going to be the Giants. If the Giants
Um,
are talking to him and entertaining him, I think that it's bound to happen. It's almost inevitable.
Now listen, like, I was just in Nashville last week.
Yeah.
I think the Titans might be maybe a decent spot for him as well. If they wanted to hold off getting the quarterback this draft, and just like kind of you talked about for the Jets, maybe holding off on the quarterback for this draft. Obviously Will Levis is still there too, so that'll be a competition in camp. But yeah, no, Aaron Rodgers to Tennessee would be my place. I would think he could go for sure, and you know play, and then they can go after their quarterback in the next draft, which will be loaded. So
Yeah, next draft is loaded.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But
Speaking
yeah,
of the
let's get into the
combine.
combine. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot to take from it. What were some of your takes from the
Oh,
combine?
before we get into the full takes, I think the funniest comment of the weekend had to be Travis Hunter comparing his two-way stuff. One of the reporters asked him if what he did or what Shohei Ohtani in baseball does is harder as a
It's
two-way.
harder.
And Travis Hunter said what he does is harder. And I think a lot of people got up in arms about that. And
He's not
kind of
lying.
hated on him for that. And here's the thing, right? He's not wrong, but
Yeah,
he's
he's
also
not
not
lying.
right. What he does as a two-way player in football is more physically demanding. It's
Uh-huh.
physically way harder.
Yes.
Tell me that it's not the hardest thing in the world to be able to hit a baseball
Baseball
in
and
the
pitch.
MLB and
Yeah,
then
and pitch.
also to throw one perfectly
Mm-hmm.
placed, 95 to 100 miles an hour,
No, yeah, definitely. Skill wise,
skill wise.
uh I'm
Otani has a
slaughtered his
much
name.
harder job.
Otani has a much harder job skill wise. It takes a lot of skill to be able to hit the baseball and obviously be a great pitcher, a great thrower, accurate, throwing it that fast, 90 miles per hour plus
Yeah.
for sure. So on the physical side, it's definitely the football with Travis Hunter
I don't
for
think there was
sure.
a way that he could have won that comment.
Yeah, yeah.
Either way he answered, people were gonna have something to say about it. I didn't love the question. I don't really know how they got there,
Mm-hmm.
but to me, I think that's a 22-year-old guy telling you, my job is fucking hard, right? Like it's so physically demanding. I don't
Yeah,
have to tell you, I'm the one doing my job. I think it's harder. Like I'm not
yeah.
hitting a baseball. So
Definitely. That's why I said he wasn't wrong. But I mean, yeah, no, like you said, he wasn't wrong, but he wasn't right. But definitely on the physical side, he he will be not lasting as long. Obviously, base people last longer in baseball. Obviously.
And then the other Colorado guy that everybody has doubts about, that I don't, is Sheduer Sanders. And he did not work out at the combine. He did not. But
Yes.
if you saw, he was there on the sidelines cheering on his teammates who were
Mm-hmm.
working out at the combine. And I think both he and Travis Hunter have made it abundantly clear that their reasoning for not working out at the combine was to draw more attention to their pro day and to their teammates. And I think a lot of people doubt Shador for a lot of reasons, but his leadership quality should not be one of them. Number one, he shows up for his teammates and he shines the
Mm-hmm.
spotlight on his teammates. Even though he's shining a spotlight on himself, he's also shining a spotlight on his teammates. And number two, when a guy with that much confidence and that much swagger is walking into your building to lead, people are gonna follow. Whether you like it or not, whether you think it's cocky or not, it does rub off on people. I think he has the potential to be a fantastic team leader. I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't see what hate everybody else is throwing on this guy. I don't
Well,
get it.
it's only because he's Dion's kid, man. That's really where it stems from.
I just don't get
Because
it.
he has that name, the Sanders name. Like I said, I like Shador, man. He's a great quarterback. All the quarterbacks have their pros and cons. If you ask me his cons, I think he holds the ball a little too long. That's going to kill him in the league. My opinion, he'll have to be a lot faster. He's not the greatest runner either. So, but as far as everything else, he's an accurate passer. He can throw all the throws. Like you said, he's a great leader. He does all the right things. So, you know, he's going to do well for whatever team he plays for. I just think it's going to take a little time. I don't think it'll be immediate like Jaden Daniels or anything like that. But um,
I think he's a great pocket passer. I think that's what he's destined to be.
yeah,
And I think
definitely,
he has great reads. I do think some of the throws that he makes are probably going to be interceptions in the NFL. And I think there's going to be a learning curve for him.
definitely
But
is. I think.
I think he throws the ball well. He's super accurate. He's a great pocket passer. And he's
Hmm.
still able to buy himself time, even with a bad O line, which he's proven. He's not great. He's not a great runner, but he is
Yeah,
pretty good when he has to escape the pocket. Even, he throws those off balance balls confidently. And whether or not they all work out for him, he's still throwing them confidently, and it's his belief in himself. And I think more and more people are saying it's Cam Ward, it's Cam Ward, it's Cam Ward, and they're I think the line between QB1 and 2 is getting further away for most analysts. For me, it's
Uh-huh.
they're still very close in my mind. And I honestly,
Yeah.
I personally might go Sheduer over Cam Ward. I like him better. And maybe I've just watched more tape of Sheduer. Maybe. But like from what I've seen from Cam Ward, I just think he is just far too willing to like go out of structure to play hero ball, and like he's just he needs a little bit more discipline in my mind. And
Yeah, yeah. I
discipline
mean,
aspect is what Sheduer has.
to me, they're like,
They're
it's
different.
kind of hard. They're like neck and neck. They're definitely different. They're both kind of like neck and neck to me. Like I said, you still just don't know. Like to me in the NFL, it's about obviously winning the big games, the important games, and neither of these quarterbacks really won important games in their college career. They have put up good numbers and stats of that nature, but I mean, if you look at Miami's season last year, it went to shit. They went from being a favorite to win the conference to
I
not
just
going to the conference championship. So
I'm not trying to shit on Cam Ward, but like
the better pro to me, I think, is going to be Jackson Dart out of all the quarterbacks in this draft, in my
that's
opinion.
definitely a possibility. I'm not sure with the way that Cam Ward is reckless with the ball, is inconsistent. He will find himself like cutting it loose before the route develops. He's a little bit impatient.
Uh-huh.
He will take sacks really far back because he'll scramble backwards and he's not really willing to let it go. And he has this kind of like different style of throw. It's a little bit erratic, and we've seen that like,
Uh-huh.
you know,
He has like I don't like the lackadaisicalness to him where he's just like
at
out
two.
there just standing and not bouncing around and he'll just make a throw. Just I don't like that. That can't happen in the NFL. You're gonna get your head took off for sure. But
I'm just not sure.
I don't know.
I
I
want
wish
somebody
all of
who's
them the
a big
best,
Cam
but
Ward guy to come on here and tell me why all of these analysts and why all these scouts and why everybody is so high on Cam Ward and not talking as much about Shador or Jackson Dart, who I think are probably both better long-term NFL prospects than Cam Ward.
yeah, yeah. No, I like Jackson a lot for sure. He's my sleeper because nobody's talking about him either. And I mean, he did nothing but have a stellar career at Ole Miss and put up numbers every year. I mean, definitely Ole Miss was in the SEC, one of the toughest conferences. So, he had a tough time trying to get a ring, but I think he's the sleeper for sure. Cam, like I said, I like Cam, but like I said, he's just a developmental project. Um, him and
He has
Shador.
ball security issues too. I mean, I think in the
Mm-hmm.
NFL they're going to eat that up. He doesn't protect the ball, and he carries the ball like out and away from his body.
Yeah.
He's on the move, and it worked
Said you
out
better
for him
listen,
in
Cam.
college.
Tony trying to tell you.
It's going to get exploited in the NFL. And Shador has weaknesses too. I don't want to sit here and shit on one
Yeah,
and
no, for
the
sure.
other.
I've already mentioned some of his about him holding the ball too long in the pocket and,
Yeah.
being indecisive. And like you said, some of those throws Shador makes, where it's like just kind of iffy throws where his receivers come up with it. A lot of those will get picked or broken up in the league for sure.
Yeah, and look, Cam Ward has great pocket mobility. He's a natural playmaker, and he is able to and it's improved over time, his ball placement and the anticipation throws. That's all
Mm-hmm.
massively improved since he's been at Miami. I think he's a very good quarterback. I think this is a very weak quarterback draft class. I think
Yeah.
you really only have those three options when it comes to potential future NFL starters. I'm not sure any
Yeah.
of them are ready to come in and take over a team right away.
Mm-hmm. And another, hey, I want to mention something too about the combine. Because it's like you said, we kind of talked about it. Players not performing in the combine and this and that, for whatever reason. I feel like a lot of players, like I said, they're scared to have their draft stock drop. But like I said, once their pro days come, you know, some players feel more comfortable. Like I heard Cam Ward mention he didn't want to throw because he'd rather throw to his receivers at Miami, which I understand that to an extent, but me personally, you're not going to have that to your self when it comes to being drafted. And who you get drafted to, those are the receivers you're going to have. So you're going
Yeah,
to
it
eventually have to
seemed
work
like
with different guys anyway. So
he was
like
protecting himself a little bit.
yeah, a lot of guys do that, protect themselves from that. But like, I appreciate the guys who actually go out there and do it, even if they stink it up, kind of like Will Howard did. He
Yeah,
stunk it up bad. Like he looked terrible out there. You know, that's not shit he was throwing at Ohio State for sure.
and that
But
sucked for him.
yeah, but
He'll have his pro day, but
some people say that could have dropped his draft stock. Some people say it didn't. You never know. If a team likes him, like who he is a person, I don't know. But me
I
personally,
always
I like to see the guys go out there and throw because I like the pressure. You want to be in those type of situations. So,
what I always say
but
about
Will
the
Howard
combine,
definitely didn't help his case, in my opinion.
what I always say about the combine is the tape is ultimately going to be the tape. It speaks for itself. It's what you've done in game. It's what you've done in game situations,
Uh-huh.
and that is going to be valued completely differently from what you do at the combine. The
Yeah.
combine, it is what it is, and it can help guys and it can hurt guys, but at the end of the day, they're gonna look at your tape, and that's gonna be
Yeah.
evaluated, and that's who you are as a player, not what you do in 1 or 2 days of the NFL combine.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh yeah, they're gonna check
great
your work ethic. They're gonna check a lot of things about you. Your work ethic, they're gonna check your mental, who you are as a leader, how you are as a teammate. All that's gonna factor in for sure, along
and
with the
there's
athletic
stuff that
ability.
comes out of it where I'm like, oh, holy shit, I didn't really even think anything of this person, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
out of UNC, the running back Omarion Hampton, combine, I
Baller.
think shot his draft stock up. I think
And
he'll
he's been a
be right.
baller. He's a sleeper. I like him.
He's a
He's a
sleeper, and
sleeper.
he's
He's a
right
baller.
there with Ashton Genty. I think two teams that are going to be looking for running backs possibly are the Cowboys and the Broncos. Cowboys have
Yeah.
the number 12 pick, the Broncos have the 20th pick. I could
Mm-hmm.
easily see either Genty or Hampton going to the Cowboys at 12.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Hampton is a more of a home run hitter, in my opinion, than Genty. I mean, to me, Genty doesn't have the speed. I mean, he had those runs in college, but I don't see him getting as many of those runs. He'll be a harder runner to tackle in the physical standpoint, but Amari Hampton's more the home run hitter, if you ask me, as far as the league
If the
goes, for
Cowboys
sure.
pass up on Amari and Hampton, because the Cowboys need a running back of the future,
Yeah, they
I
need a lot.
absolutely think the Broncos should grab him at 20 if he falls. Like,
Hmm.
there's no reason the Broncos could use him. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
home run hitting running back. They could definitely use that.
And the guy from Virginia Tech upped his draft too. The Tootin guy, the Bashal Tootin, I think he ran like a 4.32. And he's like 220 plus pounds running that fast. So I think he kind of helped his stock too. There's three receivers I want to touch on that I feel like I like that these guys they were sleepers during college football last year and the year before to me. Both of Iowa State's both of their receivers, Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins. Those two, I think they're going to go high in the draft for sure. They both uh, ran well. They jumped well. The broad jumped well. They did well in the combine. And if you just put on the tape, they both balled out, had over 1,000 yards for Iowa State. And I like the Jalen
Is your
Noel guy more. He reminds me of Amaron St. Brown a lot. Just a short, kind of stocky guy that's twitchy, can move and runs well. You know what I'm saying? He ran a 4.3,
is your other guy
4.39.
Matthew Golden from Texas? Because that's
Yeah,
my
Matthew
my wide
Golden. Yeah, no, yeah, he definitely upped his stock too. He ran a 4.2, was it 4.29? I think. Yeah, and then the low 4.3s. But yeah, he upped his stock too for sure. I think he might have moved himself in the first round.
I think
Definitely.
he's a potential great grab. Any of the three you mentioned too. I think the Steelers need a wide receiver to
They
complement
definitely do.
Pickens because, as we know, Pickens is kind of volatile and a little bit inconsistent, and there are games
Uh-huh.
he doesn't even play. So I think they need another young, talented wide receiver to come in to challenge him, but also hopefully mellow him out so that you can pair them together and package them
Yeah.
together. So I have Matthew Golden going to the Steelers at 21. That would be an excellent pick for them. But any of the
Mm-hmm.
guys you just mentioned, all great
Yeah,
picks.
no, definitely. Yeah, no. And the Noel kid, he probably definitely moved himself up to a high first round, maybe high second round, too. He's a baller for sure. If you look up the tape on him, he's a baller for sure.
I think offensive tackle out of Mizzou, Armand
Uh-huh.
how do you
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it?
yeah.
I mean, with his combine performance paired with the experience that he has and his resume coming in,
He might have moved up in the top 10.
I think he could have moved up into the top 10. He was a huge sleeper that the combine just made a name for himself.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the cornerbacks, Maxwell Harrison out of Kentucky had the fastest 40
That's his 40,
entire
yeah. He
combine.
definitely moved up.
I
His
think
draft
he
stock went
moved
up.
up. And Barron out of Texas.
Oh yeah,
Another
Jade.
fast 40. He's got all over versatility, the ball skills
Mm-hmm.
to make the plays. I could see him moving up as well.
Yeah, I like the Jahad Campbell from Alabama. He had a good combine too.
Yes, he
His
did great.
draft stock definitely moved up. He's a first rounder for sure. He's a solid linebacker. Um, I would love for Philly to get him at the end of the first if somehow, some way we don't keep hold of Zach Bond. But they need to sign Zach Bond for sure. But if they don't, I would love them to get him at the end of the round at 32.
And
And
then the two
Landon Jackson
safety.
at edge.
Oh,
I
yes.
think his stock went up too from Arkansas. He's a baller. He kind of went viral when he was in high school for doing the pad drills. He was like doing them so goofy, and then like obviously in the combine he was doing them a lot better. But
Yeah.
no, he ran a good 40 at a 40-inch vertical. Um, I think he moved up definitely in the stock draft too, in the draft for sure.
There's two safeties I think that could go in that have moved themselves into the first round or up their stock in the first round. And that's
Hmm.
Malachi Starks out of Georgia
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Nick Amenwari. I think that's
Yeah,
how
from
you
South Carolina.
South
Yeah.
Carolina.
He definitely moved on. He had one of the best
Had a
performances
great
at the
combine.
combine.
He had
Yeah.
a great combine. So I think they both have improved their stock.
Yeah, he's a baller. He ran like a 4.3 at like 220 pounds at safety. And he did everything well
The way
at the
he moves
combine.
with his size is
Yeah. Yeah.
I could
No,
see
definitely.
I could see him shooting up the draft boards.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Malachi Starks, I like him a lot. He's really came on the scene as a freshman at Georgia out the gate.
Yeah.
Uh, 3 year starter for them. I like him a lot. I would like for if he's there at the end of the first round, I would like for Philly to get him too. If
I
they
could see
sign Bond, if they sign take care of Zach Bond, that's who I want us to get is Malachi at the safety.
but I could see Malachi Starks going as high as like to the Colts at number
Yeah,
14.
no, he could definitely go higher for sure. I would love for him to fall to us though, for sure. He's a baller, definitely.
Yeah. There's definitely a
But
couple guys I'd love to fall to 17, but I doubt it'll happen.
yeah,
So,
no, definitely.
yeah.
Um, so after the combine, we both redid our top 10
Yeah.
mock draft. So we can start at one and just kind of go back and forth and
Yeah, why
see
don't you
what.
start us off this time?
My number one is still the same. I got the Titans taking Travis Hunter with the first pick.
Okay. I mine stayed the same too. I still think they're gonna go Cam Ward. I think everybody is so high on this guy, and I think the Titans are gonna fall victim
But you're not
high
for
on this guy.
sure.
I'm not, but I still think he'll
I
go
know.
number one overall. And and it's crazy to me because I don't think he should. He's not my
Yeah.
top pick, but I think that
Hmm.
he still goes number one overall. So
Yeah.
explain it to me. God, explain it to me. He wouldn't crack the top 10 of quarterbacks from last year's draft. Why is
No.
everybody projecting him to go number one?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he should go number one.
Is
I
it
don't
so
think no
quarterback needy? Is
with the
that the
tight unless a team trades to move up. I don't think no. I don't think the Titans should take a quarterback number one.
think they
So
should either, but I think they will. I Everybody has fallen under the spell
I
of
hope not.
Ford is the
I'm
number.
in Nashville a lot. I would hate to have to talk to the fans about them failing on another quarterback. They need to just wait it out. Like you said, bring in a veteran guy like an Aaron Rodgers or somebody for a year, and then go get your guy in the next draft
Yeah.
because you'll be able to find it for sure. But number two, who you got? Cleveland
You're
taking.
going first this time. I went first last week. Come on.
I got him going Abdul still. I don't think the foot injury is going to affect him as far as going in the draft. I think he'll be healthy by the time the season comes around.
I agree. I think that he's an injury prone player, and that's a dangerous injury to have. But from what they're
Hmm.
saying, it doesn't seem like it's that big a deal.
Yeah.
According to the doctors, according to the people, I have no idea who the hell is giving out these reports, but they, air quotations, are saying that
Uh
it's
huh.
not that bad. And
Yeah, I don't think so. I
I
don't think
also
it.
think the
I think he'll be
Browns
fine.
notably screw these things up. So, of course, they're going to take a guy like Abdul Carter, and then he's going to end up being injury prone.
Don't do him like that. I don't think that. Uh, I think he's gonna be all right there. I
I
think
hope
that's
he's all right. I
because
wish the best for him, but I
yeah,
think
no,
like the curse of the Browns.
no, for sure. It's definitely the curse of the Browns. My friend Greg will hate to hear me say that, but yeah, it's definitely the curse of the Browns for sure. But I think Abdul, he's gonna be fine there. He's from Philly. He grew up a Philly fan. I would love for him to go to Philly if nobody wants to take him because of injuries, but I know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But no, I think he'll be a good fit there, obviously, because Miles Garrett won't
Yeah,
be there
if they get
long.
rid of Miles Garrett, they got to replace him and Abdul
I
Carter.
think they're good. I think they're going to have to because if not, they're going to get a disgruntled guy, and they're not going to want that. They don't need any more
They don't need.
turmoil in their locker room. They have enough.
This is where my list starts to change. Who you got at three?
I got your boy Cam Ward at 3 to the Giants.
Okay. I have Travis Hunter to the Giants now. Seems like a good option for them. You can
Hmm.
Travis Hunter is not going to play every snap. That's not what's
No.
happening. Yes, he needs to go to a team where he can be a two-way player, but he needs to go to a team that is going to use him defensively every single snap and then have
Hmm.
packages for him at wide receiver. Because if you're playing a team where you're covering their number one, right? You're covering a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, and an Amon-Ra, St. Brown, any of these top wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
You're not also taking every snap on offense. It's just not sustainable
No.
long term. And I think the Giants having Malik Neighbors, having a true like wide receiver one that can turn into like a franchise player, having having Malik Neighbors there, you can package Travis Hunter to having certain offensive schemes where the two of them work in tandem and you have to cover one of them and it opens that up and he needs to go
Yeah.
somewhere where there's already a good receiving core that they're working
Hmm.
on building where he can go be a
And
corner
have his packages.
and then have his packages.
Yeah, but yeah, no. I mean, if he does go there to not Tennessee, but to the Giants, they obviously they need the back end on the defense for sure at corner. So that's gonna help them tremendously. And like I said, on offense too, you can put him in with packages. Like I said, having Malik Neighbors already there as a cornerstone piece on the offense. but they just got to get a quarterback, man. Uh, that's going to be the problem. Who's going to throw the ball? But no, for sure, that's not a bad place for him to go. But number 4 for the Patriots, I have them going O lineman, and I have them going Will Campbell. I'm sorry, LSU.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're aligned now. I like it. We've both moved him into that spot, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Tiny,
like him. He had
tiny
a good
hands, Will
combine too.
Campbell.
No, he had a good combine too. He actually ran a good 40 too.
He had a
I
good
think it was like under
combine.
five.
They're saying that his hands are small.
Yeah,
Arms are too short. His arms are too short. That's what they're saying.
yeah, something. But
Something
just
like
look
that.
at the
I think
tape.
they're saying his arms are too short.
I mean, if you look at the tape, I mean, he
But if you look
plays
at the
well.
tape, does it
So
seem to affect him? No.
no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
They've been, like I said, the combine is what the combine is, but ultimately the tape speaks for itself. And I
Yeah,
don't think his wingspan has hurt him so far. So
yeah. I don't think so either.
I still think
Um,
top choice for an offensive lineman.
no, yeah, definitely. I think so. Number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them taking Will Johnson, defensive back from Michigan.
Okay.
Um, I just think there's one of their more important needs on the back end, and he's probably besides Travis Hunter the next best available as far as cornerback is concerned. So I got him taking Will Johnson from Michigan.
Yeah, I was almost gonna go Will Johnson there, but I actually think they could go D line
D
and
line.
Graham from Michigan. So another Michigan
Oh
guy.
yeah, another Michigan guy,
But
Mason
they've
Graham.
got
Yeah.
needs in a lot of places. I could see them going either way on that.
hmm No, definitely. He's a baller too. He's a beast in the middle for sure.
Yes.
Definitely. He'll be going for sure in the top 10, in my opinion.
Still got Sheduer going to
Las
Vegas.
Vegas. Yes. Sheduer Sanders going to Vegas. I still got him there in that spot.
That's where I have him now. I
Yeah.
don't think the Browns are interested in him as much as
Mm-mm.
people thought they were. I don't think the Giants should go quarterback.
I don't think it's Papa Dion wanting to go to Cleveland anyway, to be honest, but that's
Yeah.
a whole nother story.
So I definitely think Vegas was one of my top two landing spots for Shador. If he falls there, the Raiders are lucky because I think
hmm
that he can be a great long term player for them.
No, definitely. Number 7, the New York Jets. Who you just chose is who I got there. I got them taking Mason Graham
Okay.
from Michigan. Yeah.
All
Him
right.
and
Well,
Quinn and Williams in the middle, that'll be hell for offensive linemen.
so it looks like the Jets are going to be parting ways with Devontae Adams, with Alan Lazard. Opens up some room in their wide receiver group. I have them
hmm
taking Tedero and McMillan. He's the best
Okay.
pure wide receiver on the board. And it seems like that's a need for them. And
Yeah, yeah.
you don't have anybody to throw to. Doesn't matter who's playing quarterback for you.
No, that's real talk for
So,
sure.
I mean, they could go a
They'll
lot of
bring in
ways.
somebody. They'll bring in a quarterback, I'm sure. Aaron Glenn, he's got to bring in somebody.
But I could see them taking a wide receiver then first round if they're getting rid of everybody.
Now McMillan's a baller, tall, lanky guy, shifty though for his size.
Yes, very
Got a
shifty for his size.
high points the ball well.
And then you
He's a
got like
decent
him
route
and Garrett
runner.
Wilson. I think that's a great little duo.
Yeah, that's a great 1-2 punch for sure. Definitely. Number 8, the Carolina Panthers. I have them going edge, and I got them taking Michael Williams from Georgia. I just
Yes,
like him. I like his upside.
you had that last week, and I also had an edge there, but it was a different one, and that's James Pierce Jr. I
James Pierce. I like him too. Yeah.
I could see them going Michael Williams. I could see them going James Pierce Jr. Whichever one they feel like has the bigger upside. To me,
hmm
they're different kind of players, but they are similar in level of talent.
Yeah.
Me, I think I just probably watched more of James Pierce Jr. So I think personally, I just have like the slight.
Yeah, it just all depends on who they like, really. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with
Right.
either of the two.
Right.
James Pierce, he
Whichever one
quick
they
first
don't
step
take.
off the edge, so he's a good rusher too. He's a great edge rusher too,
Yeah,
for sure.
he's really great. Yeah. So I mean, whichever one they don't take, will probably, stay within the top 12. So
Hmm. All right, well, number 9, the New Orleans Saints. I got them taking linebacker Jalen Walker, edge linebacker, kind of edges linebacker out of Georgia.
same. We're
Uh,
aligned this week. I have that
yeah,
too.
yeah, he's a baller. I like him. Obviously, I like all these players to play for my team, but
Yes.
no, he's definitely a baller. He wrecks havoc for sure. Had a good career at Georgia for sure. So I got him there in New Orleans. And then for number 10, for Chicago, um, I have them taking. That's kind of iffy, but I got them taking Josh Simmons. I wanted them to go O lineman. I just didn't know which one, but I think Josh Simmons will be the good fit for them from Ohio State. He's probably the top O line prospect, and then if not him, probably the guy from Missouri,
Okay. You're missing the guy from Texas, which is who I have, which is Kelvin
Kelvin
Banks.
Banks. Yeah, no, I like Banks too. I
Yes,
like Banks
that's
too.
who I have there. I don't know if I mean, you got a lot of guys, right? I'm not sure what they're gonna do. You have a plethora of offensive line that you could kind of go with, and
Yeah.
if Will Campbell goes as high as we think he's gonna go, then you have Simmons, Banks, and the guy from Mizzou, Membow.
Hmm.
So you've got a plethora of
You got
options,
a
plenty of
good
need,
depth in the O line. Yeah, for sure.
plenty of need. I would love for the Bengals to pick up an O lineman or two, whether
Hmm.
it be free agency or draft. So
No, they could definitely get one of those guys in the late second round or early second round for sure.
yeah,
Um, it'll be a lot of depth in the low line for sure. So
there's a lot of depth there. So I,
they can
I
pick up some
definitely think,
pieces.
but I don't know how
And
the
in free
Bengals don't go
agency,
O line. The Bears have to go O line with their first pick.
yeah, I think so too. They gotta protect Caleb Williams 100%. They gotta get O linemen in there.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
think they need to pick up some free agent ones too, not only draft.
Yeah, they
Get
got to
some
get
guys
like
in
three
there.
or four guys, so they
Yeah,
definitely have work to do there. One of them is
yeah,
going to have to
definitely.
be their first draft pick.
Hmm. Yep. But no, it
So
was
a
a
couple
good
of
comp.
changes. We had a couple of changes to the top 10.
Yeah,
We're
yeah, a
definitely
couple
more
of
aligned
changes.
this week.
Yeah, we're definitely more aligned. Couple of little changes, but we'll do another one again closer to the draft, and
Of course,
you
it will.
know,
It's going to change.
yeah, see what changes. But let's talk women's basketball.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
there was a specific game this weekend with JuJu Watkins and the Trojans of USC. They took on UCLA, which
yes.
USC won that 80-67. You want to touch on that? What you think?
Yes. The second time they beat UCLA, and this time they did it at UCLA. They
Hmm.
they decidedly won that game. The final was 80-67. Um, USC locked up the Big Ten regular season title.
Yep.
And JuJu Watkins,
Congrats.
30 points, 3 blocks. She's a beast. This girl is
Yeah,
a
she's a baller for
baller.
sure.
She's a baller. She reminds me of like watching Maya Moore. She is the complete package on both sides of
Hmm.
the ball. She is a star. And
Yeah.
I think the only reason that her name isn't in the same vein right now as Caitlin Clark is because she's so young. I think eventually as she gets older, because in women's basketball you can't do a one and done. You gotta play until you graduate or you're 22. So
Hmm.
you can't enter the draft until you graduate or you're 22 years old. Those are the boundaries, the guidelines.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
she's only a sophomore right now, JuJu Watkins.
Yeah.
Got years. If we're shoving JuJu Watkins down everybody's throats for the next 2 years, it could get tired. I think that's the only reason that she is not getting as much coverage as Caitlin Clark was last year. I think eventually down the line, when you start talking about notable players of the game and you're talking Cheryl Swoops, Maya Moore,
Hmm.
Diana Taurasi, Caitlin Clark, JuJu
Yeah.
Watkins is gonna be right there.
No, definitely. She is a baller, certified baller for sure. I peeked in on. I didn't watch the game, but I peeked in on a little bit of it. Kind of binge watched it. No, she's good. How good she is on the offensive defensive side of the ball is crazy. All the blocks she gets on a regular basis.
Well, there aren't a
Um,
lot of people built like her at the guard position.
yeah.
But when she's
Hmm.
covering other guards, I mean, she's thick, she can move, she's a tall guard, she's over six
She
foot.
reminds me of Cheryl Miller, the old
Yeah.
goat from USC. I mean, you seen the exchange they had after she had that block. They kind of dapped it up, going down the sideline. But she reminds me of a lot of Cheryl Miller and with her game. I know a lot of people that won't remember Cheryl Miller because she played in the '80s, but she was actually better than her brother Reggie Miller. He would tell you this. He couldn't beat her in basketball for the longest until he was like grown man. Like she used to beat him all the time. Right. But no, Juju definitely reminds me of her when it comes to her game, and she's
She
definitely a baller. She's going to. They won the regular season Big Ten, and they might probably will win the tournament too. I
It looks
mean,
like it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
3 times, but it looks like it's a collision course for the Bruins and Trojans again in the championship. In
So
my
we'll
mind,
see. We'll
we'll
see.
see. Yeah,
But
Ohio State has a tough team too in women's too, but the Big Ten is tough in women. So
Ohio
you know,
State, they had a crazy game. They ultimately lost, but
yeah.
easy game. Ohio State is 12 and they played number 19 Maryland into
Hmm.
OT. Maryland won on a prayer shot in overtime, 93-90. It was one of those shots where you're just like, no fucking way. That's how the
Yeah.
game ended. Like, holy. So, absolutely amazing game. My sister and I watched it. That was wild. And it
Yeah,
looked
no, yeah.
like that
I
game
didn't
would
watch it, but I heard
actually
about it.
decide who has home court advantage, whether it be Ohio State or Maryland, and maybe it's
Maryland,
Maryland
yeah,
now. So
yeah.
big game. And the SEC is just crazy as well. Flau'jae Johnson is
Hmm.
was notably
Yeah,
out
LSU.
when they lost to Ole Miss this weekend, and she'll be
Hmm.
out for the entire SEC tournament. She won't come back
Damn.
until tournament time. So that's a tough loss for them because she is a champion of
Don't
that
she
team.
got a song with Lil Wayne?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
she's got
Yeah,
a music career on the side.
yeah, on the side. Yeah, a
I
little
mean, but
backup.
she's very important to that trio of players at LSU,
Yeah, no, she's a baller too for sure. I like her. Yeah,
and
she was part of that championship team a couple years ago.
having her out during the SEC tournament is going to be tough for them, especially
Yeah, definitely,
tough
because the
conference.
SEC is tough. That's probably the toughest. Yeah,
Yeah.
men's and women's probably. But
And then an unranked Georgia team beat Tennessee this week. So just in case you're wondering if the madness was going to continue, absolutely. Because I
yeah.
sat there stunned as Georgia beat
Hmm.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
Georgia
no,
was like
definitely. And next
Georgia was
week's
like
show is going to
three
be
and
all about
12 or
that.
something, and they just came in and any given Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Next week's show is going to be all about that, the
Yes.
madness and the bracketology. We definitely going to be covering that for sure.
Yes.
Um,
We'll be filling out our brackets right
did
here
you
on the
did you
pod.
check out that NBA game, the Cavs versus Celtics?
I did. I got to
Where the
in on
Cavs
that.
won 123, 116. They were down like 25-3 at one point in the first quarter
Yeah. Yeah.
and ended up pulling back and winning that. Mitchell had like 41. Tatum and Brown ball too. Tatum had like 46. Brown had like 39 or 30, yeah, 30 something, but they ended up losing to the Cavs. We were talking about the Cavs, whether or not they were a real threat to Boston.
Hey, now
And I mean, it kind of shows that they are a threat to Boston in
yes,
the East.
they are a definitely a threat to Boston. I think Boston played two teams this week that are going to be some of their toughest tests and their possible biggest threats. And they
Mm-hmm.
were able to beat Denver, but the Cavs were able to beat the Celtics earlier in the week. And I think the Cavs and specifically Donovan Mitchell are the biggest threats.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was phenomenal in that game, like many
Mm-hmm.
games. So,
Yeah. No, definitely. Um, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to the Lakers too, man. They've been balling on defense, surprisingly, in my opinion, more without Anthony Davis.
yeah.
With Luca, that was the whole thing with Luca not playing D and being out of shape or whatever. But
You don't
they've
look out of
been,
shape to me.
man, they've been playing well for sure. They're starting to look dangerous. So
And LeBron
you
looks
know,
so good at 40. I mean, how
yeah,
is that even possible? I want to
yeah.
be that good a shape now, let alone at 40.
No, definitely. LeBron to me has the best NBA career ever. I don't care about the rings and who has the most rings. If you just look at longevity, there's nobody like LeBron. And nobody was doing what he's doing at 40. It's just
There's
not happening.
definitely
I gotta,
nobody doing what he was doing at 40. I'm not sure
yeah, you gotta
I
tip it.
I
People
take that
gotta
as
tip the cap and stop the LeBron hate when it comes to his career and the length of it and the numbers he continues to put up. And you
no
know,
LeBron hate. I'm still not sure. I would say he has the best NBA career. I do think. We talked about the GOATs a little bit last week. You know,
yeah, no, for sure. I'm talking about like as far as longevity.
longevity wise, he at 40 looks better than any other player that I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Obviously we had the GOAT conversation, even though to me LeBron is the GOAT over Jordan. That's just my opinion, you know. But as far as longevity, definitely there's nobody that can put their career up against LeBron's when
Yeah.
it comes to the numbers and longevity and being relevant and have your team in the playoff hunt and being relevant for sure. But
Everybody said he went to the Lakers to end his career, to be closer to Hollywood, where he was doing some stuff in the acting world.
huh.
It's that and the other thing, but
I
look at
haven't seen none of that acting
40.
stuff. I haven't seen none of that stuff going on. I haven't seen him in no movies or nothing. So
Taking care of his body. He's in the gym and he looks more impressive at 40 than I think anybody ever has.
yeah, no, definitely for sure, 100%. Um, let's talk, it was a boxing match this weekend. We're gonna change the subject a little bit and talk about the boxing match. You had Lamont Roach versus Devontae Tank Davis, which went the distance and was ended up in a draw.
Yes.
Um, what were your takes and how did you feel about it
Yeah,
ended
I
up in a
mean,
draw?
so like we said last week, boxing is not my main thing, but I was able to peek in on this. And from what I understand, just about um the situation coming in was that Roach was probably supposed to lose that, right?
He was the underdog for sure. Yeah.
Definitely an underdog. And to me, again, not a boxer, but I was a fighter and I do have my black belt. And so I know a thing or two about fighting. And so
Said, don't fuck with
Roach
Toni. She gonna kick your ass.
no. Only, you know what? Karate is for defense only, okay? That's what you have to understand. That's probably why I never really got super into boxing. But Roach, to me, he stood in that line of fire. He absorbed hits really well, and what he was able to do
Hmm.
in response, watching the audience, I think people were surprised by his response to some of those hits. But the way that he took hits was tough. Like,
Yeah.
there was something to be said about the way you absorb contact and how you then respond. And he stood out to me in that regard.
Hmm.
And then I'm sure you're going to have a comment about this, but correct me if I'm wrong. When you take a knee, it's supposed to be a knockdown, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm a
Yes.
little confused. Talk me through that. How come they didn't score it as a knockdown?
Oh, I mean, I'm still wondering the same thing. I was ready to like pull my hair out because this is my thing. I was talking to one of my close friends right before this fight, and I was telling him that Roach was going to give Tank a run for his money because, and the only reason why I felt that way is because they had history. They've been sparring each other for years, you know. And in the boxing world, whether people know it or not, when you're sparring with people and you spar with people for years, you have a tendency to learn them and know them and get used to them, you know, and their power and getting hit. So Roach, it wasn't nothing Roach hasn't seen from Tank, you know, over the years. So he was ready. He didn't come in there scared. He came in there in great shape. A lot of Gervonta's opponents, you know, have like weight clauses and shit. They'd be out of shape or, you know, too dehydrated or whatever. But he came in great shape and he wasn't scared and he countered. He threw his and Tank threw his, and you know, a lot of people thought that Tank was going to knock him out, but he didn't. Kudos to Roach for being able to absorb those shots and take those knockout shots, and he threw some of his own as well. But the knee thing, in my opinion, was bullshit. 100%. That should have been counted as a knockdown, which probably would have gave Roach the win, which everyone thought he should have won. Even my friend texted me after the fight and said, "Yeah, I think Gervonta lost, even though they called it a draw and he was able to obtain his belt." But I think it was just total bullshit, man. They definitely got to give him a rematch.
I hear
I
they're
think
both calling for a rematch. Are we gonna get one?
they better give him a rematch 100% because he won the fight. And like I said, a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but I like Gervonta. But what I'm not a fan of him from is him ducking fights. There's been a lot of boxers out here calling him out, wanting to fight him, which will be huge fights. But he just seems to just pick whatever fights he wants and dodge these guys. But you know, I'm from the old school of boxing where everybody fights everybody. You know, there is no ducking from anyone, and that's, you know, kind of what the people want to see, whether they say it or not. They want to see the Shakur versus Tank. They want to see the Keyshawn
Competitor.
versus
If
Tank.
somebody calls me out, I'm gonna fight him.
Yeah, you should as a competitor, right? You know, but
Right.
it's just I just don't like the ducking, you know, that he does. He's a great fighter. He's a schematic fighter. You know, he's a great puncher, power puncher, obviously. You know, I'm not taking nothing away from him. He's been boxing all his life. But come on, bro. That knee definitely should have been a knockdown. And you gotta stop ducking fighters and just fight people. So many people are worried about their win-loss record. You know, back in the day, people didn't care about that. You know, you had more respect from the losses from the people you fight. You know, like so many people are having this Mayweather effect that Mayweather had on the boxing, where it's just like trying to keep this perfect record. And that's why I kind of give Bud Crawford kudos for going to go fight Canelo Alvarez and moving up to go fighting, you know, which is a kind of a hard thing to do, to move up in weight to go fight somebody. So, you know, that's the type of stuff I want to see Gervonta do more. But it definitely should have been a knockdown. I don't know what the refs were doing or what he talking about. He had grease in his eye and all of that. It's like, no, bro, you've had your hair done plenty of times before fights, and there's never no issue about no grease. And then so I don't know what the fuck happened, but it was some bullshit in my eyes. I think Roach should have won the fight. It shouldn't have been a draw. That's just my opinion for sure.
I'm with
But
you. I'm less qualified to say it, but I'm with you on that one.
yeah, man. I mean, Tank, you got to stop ducking fights, man. You know, don't worry about the win-loss record. Go out there and fight them guys. Fight Lomachenko. Like I said, Shakur, fight Keyshawn, whoever else is looking to fight you. Go make them fights happen. But yeah, no, it was a good fight though, definitely. But they got to give him a rematch, 100%,
Definitely. I'd be
definitely.
excited for a rematch. That'd be fun.
No,
Definitely.
definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we don't have much time. We're gonna get out of here. One thing I want to touch on that happened here in Columbus over the weekend for NHL. The Columbus Blue Jackets played the Detroit Red Wings, and they played them in Ohio State's football stadium, the Horseshoe, and it was outside. I actually was over there during the time the game was going on. There was so many people, traffic everywhere, but it was about 94,000 in the stadium to watch that game. The Blue Jackets ended up winning, I think 5-3 over Detroit. But no, I just wanted to bring it up because I just want to see more of that. I know Michigan, they did it in the Big House too a couple years ago. But I just want to see more of that with the NHL. I just think it's dope. NHL is really winning for real. Like with the All Star, the Four Nations, and how
NHL
they
is
did
on
that.
the up. Hockey is on
Yeah,
the up. I said it
for
last week.
sure.
The real winner of the Four Nations tournament was hockey. Hockey
Hockey,
is
yeah.
the real winner. There's so much interest in it right now. I've tuned
Hmm.
into a hockey game this week, and trust me, I haven't in a long time.
Yeah, yeah,
So
no.
something that I've decided to invest in now, and that's all because of how intriguing Four Nations was to me
Yeah,
as
no, definitely.
a
It's
regular.
got me tapping in more too, more and more. I just like to see the doing the outside in the stadiums.
Super
I
cool
think
when they bridge that stuff together. That's always
yeah,
fun. Whenever
it was a
teams
beautiful
cross over.
spectrum. It was 94,000 people in there. The fans were excited. I was talking to some of the fans that were going to the stadium. Everyone was excited. Detroit fans, Blue Jackets fans. They didn't care about the cold. They wanted to, because obviously, hockey stadiums don't hold that many people. So to have a hockey game where it's that many people is just, it's a big thing. And, they need to start doing it more in the stadiums. I think it's definitely a cool trend. They need to continue for sure.
Yeah, super cool. I remember when Iowa women's basketball did it in their football stadium. They set a record for attendance as well. So it allows you to have a bigger audience, and it allows more people to come in, more fans to come in and watch. And you break attendance records, and you have this cool crossover of like, oh, I get to go see
Hmm.
this stadium, but I'm going to see a hockey game. Like,
Hockey
it's
game,
awesome.
yeah.
I love that cross pollination aspect of other sports supporting each other. That's always really
Yeah,
cool.
no, definitely. And like I said, the fans were big on it too. It was a lot of fans in there that didn't know, like you said, know about hockey. So it kind of opens up. It's kind of giving more views to people who don't never really pay attention to hockey and just go to a hockey game, or even like kids who maybe don't watch as hockey as much, go to a game, help them be more interested. But I mean, it was so many people out there. I mean, they had that whole side of town was hell as far as traffic. But it was nice though. Once you seen the views from it over top, but no, great for the NHL.
Super.
Uh, keep definitely trending up, but
Yo,
that
Big
is
Red, did
all.
you did you random, but still sports related? Did you watch that new Netflix show with Kate Hudson, Running Point? It's like based on the Lakers president, Jeannie Buss.
No, I heard about that though, but
Shout
I
out. Women's History Month is March. If you want to see a cool show about women in charge,
what's the name of it?
it's called Running Point. It's
Running Point.
about
Where can they see it at? What is it on?
Netflix. Netflix.
Netflix. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like that kitschy comedy, but it's not too over the top comedic. There's some drama
Hmm.
elements. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the greatest done TV show you've ever seen in your life, but it's funny. It's classic comedy, dysfunctional family stuff, but a woman in the family gets ends up getting put in charge and becomes president of the team for unforeseen circumstances.
Uh huh.
All about like, her journey through becoming the president of this fictional basketball team that is based on Jeannie Buss and
Jeannie Buss.
of the Lakers.
Oh yeah, I might have to check that out because I always wanted to
Super
know,
fun, and
her journey.
I love that she knows ball, right? Like it's not a woman that gets like put in charge of a team and it's, oh, I'm scrambling and I don't know what to
Yeah,
do. Like
yeah.
there were moments in the show where she starts to make decisions and it's like bing bang boom. She's in her element and
Hmm.
you're like, oh damn, like she knows ball, and that's awesome because a lot of times when you see fictional stuff where a woman gets put in charge or has to make decisions
Hmm.
on a team, it's never really like she's the most experienced one or she's the best person for the job. But this show, the whole premise of it was like they had to choose between her and her two brothers, and she
Yeah,
was clearly the best person for the job, and she was the one who got it, and that's awesome to me. So a lot of
yeah.
fun.
No, that's
Me and
dope.
my
Yeah,
sister
no, I'm gonna have to
watched
check
it
that out.
in
Say the
like
name of it
2 days.
again.
Running Point.
Running Point on Netflix. Y'all go check that out for sure. I definitely want to check it out. I always wanted to know how she got her spot and all that with
Yeah.
the family, the Bus family, and all that.
It's all fictional, right? But it is
Hmm.
loosely based off of that. It's taken from some of her experiences, and um it's produced by Mindy Kaling. She was the in the Office, but she also has produced a lot of other shows and stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but definitely an experienced woman in Hollywood. I know she worked a lot with Jeannie Buss and making sure that it was all fictional, but
Yeah.
loosely guided and based off of her experiences.
No, definitely, definitely. Everybody go check that out. I'm gonna definitely look into it too and check it out. I'm interested to see about that too. Like even but if it's not based off fully truly, but sounds like a good show for sure.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Well, all right, everyone. We have come to the end of the show. We would like to thank you guys. Big Red and Tony, another show of the He Said, She Said Sports Talk Podcast. We will see you guys next week. And as always, love and peace.